Hey, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Fun with Flags. I am your friendly neighborhood soda, joined as always by the fried pickle eating. What is that?
It's a matzah. Happy Passover.
Oh, yeah. Oh, matzo, yes. See, because we have a cheese called mozzarella, which is nicknamed matzo. Whenever I heard matzo balls and stuff like that, I was like, why are they making it out of cheese? I didn't
I mean,
realize
it,
it was something
I
different.
mean, I will say it does sound like a good idea.
It does, yeah. My bowels say
Yeah,
otherwise.
little cheese balls. So, how's your holiday season been so far?
No, it just started today. Like for those for where we're this is Easter weekend, so happy Easter for those of us in North America. No, it started off all right today. My mom and I just hung out this afternoon, and then I'm doing this, and then tonight, me and some friends, we're gonna go see the Super Mario movie. So yeah, it's off to a good start.
It's me, Mario.
Yeah, and 50 here has already seen it, and he gives me his seal of approval.
I just came back from it. It is awesome. Keep
Yeah,
keep
I
an eye
can't wait.
keep an eye out for my before and after review, which will be on my channel by the time this goes up. I'm assuming.
That yeah, no, these are the type of movies that like where it's just like it's why I like the Lego movie and stuff like that, right? Because great story with a lot of great fun references that I get because I'm a pop culture nerd. So you know,
It's it's a love letter to the fans of Mario.
good. Hopefully it does good enough, and we get more. But that's not why we are here. We're here because I had the bright idea to introduce 50 to French Canadian cuisine.
Which is why I'm eating the exact opposite of something like that.
Yep. And I just finished eating a frozen pizza. So not even close French Canadian. But yeah, no, most of the things that I'm gonna talk about. Most of them, a few of them, you only get at holidays. Some you do, some you don't. But obviously, we can't not talk about French cuisine and not start off with clearly the most iconic, the most stereotypical French cuisine, the one that everyone goes to and they think of it, a poutine, or as it's properly pronounced in French, a poutine. So think just if you break it down, just put in, smash the words together, and that's how you pronounce poutine. It is made with
Like Putin, right?
yeah, it is actually spelled yeah, it's not spelt that way, but basically yeah. But no, basically what this is just French fries with gravy and cheese curds. Now this is what they normally look like, but when I went to Quebec, which is where I was born, when did we go? It would have been 2016, something like that. I found out there's actually multiple types of poutine or poutine. I had a white gravy poutine that was actually really, really good. Never had white gravy before. Yeah, no, like this is something like you go over there and they have like little countryside poutineries. You just go buy homemade poutine and bring it home and eat. And then I've been to the cheese curd factory in St. Albert's and actually had freshly made cheese curds before. Um, yeah, this is whenever if it's an option to upgrade my fries, I will take a poutine almost every time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never,
So you have
never
not
heard of it. What?
okay. So you haven't heard about this one?
I've never heard of it.
Okay, that's okay. I would have thought you would have just because it's a pop. It's in the pop culture. It's like every country has their stereotypical food. That's French Canada's
So that's like the falafel for Israel.
exactly, or haggis for Scotland, right?
Fish and chips for Great Britain. The
Right, exactly,
hamburger for America, for the
yeah,
United States.
exactly. Yeah, so that's basically what that is.
Yeah.
Um,
From the picture, it looks very similar to something called a tortilla, which is actually, I believe it's an Argentinian cuisine, but it's something that uh, my mother's parents brought with them from Argentina. It's basically just fries, but you put it in a pan with eggs, and just the egg sort of solidifies around the fries and turning it into sort of a fry cake.
Interesting. So,
Like
like,
literally, it's literally like a cake. You slice it up in the middle like a pizza into four slices or more, depending on your taste. But you just fry it from
yeah, but with the egg
both
part,
sides.
do you beat them in a bowl beforehand?
Yeah, like making an omelet.
Like, okay. Oh,
Like you get like 3 to 4 eggs because it's meant to be at a
I haven't
certain
seen the
size.
recipe. I'm actually curious.
Yeah, I've actually done it a couple of times, unsuccessfully, of course, because it's me. But it's definitely something that's worth a try once.
Yeah, no, yeah. If you ever come across like a written down recipe, send it to me because I would love to try that. That's like I'm a decent enough cook. I should be able to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really need a recipe. I mean, it's basically what I said. Just take a couple of fries, put them on a fry pan, and just take a couple of like 3 or 4 eggs in a glass. Beat them up like making a really large omelet, and just pour the egg around it, and just flip it upside down a couple of times.
Yeah, that's I'd love to give that a try. I have fries, I have eggs, and I have a pan. So
Got all the ingredients right there.
okay, so next up is one that I've known about since I was a little kid because my grandma only makes this at Christmas time. But you go to Quebec, you can buy it just in any old grocery store, corner store, or whatever. And it was something that I, for whatever reason, refused to eat. I was just like, oh, it looks gross, whatever. Until I went to Quebec in 2016, and I actually tried it from a corner store, and I've enjoyed it ever since. It is something called a claton. Sounds weird, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, but I'm sure there's a meaning for the name.
So a craton is it's a meat spread made of ground pork and spices that is usually eaten for breakfast.
Hmm.
But what we use it for in my family is like you just buy some chips or crackers and you use it like a pate. I don't know what happened to my camera there, but yeah, no, you basically eat it like a pate. My grandma, like I said, my grandma makes it every Christmas, but it's not. I like it, but I don't love it like I tell her. Just because she makes it's too plain for my taste. So like I like it more a little bit more
You
saltier.
should pray to God she doesn't watch this show then.
My grandma doesn't know how to navigate YouTube, so we're good.
Okay, good.
um yeah, no, and like this is one of the things like my mom like looks forward to every year. Yeah, no, it's definitely one of my grandma's specialties in the family.
Okay.
Yeah, is there
Well,
anything like that you know of?
no, well, nothing like that for obvious reasons. We
Right.
don't eat pork over here, or at least we're not allowed to.
Yeah.
But I mean, from the picture and from what you described, it's basically just chopped meat. Is
Yeah.
it fried, cooked?
It's cooked and then it's mixed. And like I've never been around for the process. But my grandma also sometimes will not just use only pork; she will also put other meat in there as well. So that definitely adds something to it. Because my grandparents like to buy like lots of pork and lots of beef and lots of buffalo. Buffalo is another big one that my family loves.
Lots of matzah.
Yeah. The next one is another French Canadian thing. This might be something that I don't know. I think maybe Israel might. There's possibility that they might have something similar to this. What's interesting though is the name is also an old insult, derogatory insult thrown towards French Canadians back in the day, which is like really okay. It is pea soup.
Pea soup. If you have pea soup, make sure you eat it before it eats you.
Yeah. The name in French is soupe au pois, which literally just means pea soup.
Yeah, soup with peas.
Yellow peas are basically the ones you use in here. I've never seen it made with any of the other types of peas. It's also known as an habitant soup over here, which is habitant is basically habitants, settlers type of thing.
Mhm.
You can buy them in cans in the store, which I do every once in a while. You can put whatever you want in there. You can get it just straight the peas. You can also get it with vegetables. You can get them with ham. My mom, when she makes it with ham, really good. My grandma makes it with ham and vegetables, so good. Um, yeah, oh, I love me some pea soup. I don't eat it all the time though, just unfortunately, just because I have an immune system that basically won't let me digest it properly. So I'm in the bathroom a lot. But I do enjoy it whenever I do get to eat it. Plus, throw in some crackers, some salt and pepper, and you're golden.
So there's yellow peas.
Yeah,
I am literally just finding that out just now.
yeah. Like
Well,
what color are the peas over there? Green?
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
They're-
we have they're green over here too. Yeah.
Okay, I never known that there are actually green peas in the world.
Yeah.
Well, learn something new every day.
Yeah, man. I swear, if I ever get over here, man, where I'm going to introduce you to some world of foods. A lot of the stuff you can't get in restaurants over in my end where I live. You have to rely on, the French Canadian community, which I basically, outside of my grandma, I don't communicate with, but still. Um,
Okay, cool.
yeah. The next one is a dessert that my grandma, basically a lot of these my grandma makes. Um, that I also enjoy. It's basically another one where the translation is literal. It's known as an tat o suk, which is a sugar pie.
So
Basically,
one layer of sugar.
yeah, basically, it's exactly what it sounds like. This is a buttery, flaky crust filled with creamy, sugary filling, sometimes with maple syrup, which is basically nature's sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah, you put some whipped cream on it, like you see the picture here. Some people also like to put vanilla ice cream, make it a la mode. I'm a whipped cream person. Um, Again, this is nothing like a homemade one. My mom, the thing is, my mom doesn't cook often, but when she cooks, she's a good cook. Um, yeah, this is one of those like when oh, I have some of this. Do you want it? Yeah, no shit. Give me some, please.
So what exactly is it made of? Just
Give me a second. I've actually never, like I said, most of these I do not personally know how to make or how to make.
like I'm assuming there is a certain level of sugar, but it can't be the only main ingredient there.
No, 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 no.
It's gotta be like sugary
What
stuff.
you do is you make you know what caramel is?
Yeah. I mean,
You
the sugar after you put it after you heat it up a lot
you use brown sugar and you make something in that with that consistency, and then you bake it.
with yeast.
No, that
So
one that one
how do
is
you bake?
okay. So that one is like they must have put something in there for filling. My grandma doesn't. It's just basically like a caramel layer on the crust, and yeah,
But what do you use for dough for this thing?
you just make a pie crust.
A regular one?
Yeah, just a regular pie crust, nothing fancy. It's basically it's literally it's a pie. That's what talt means. It's a pie.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the next one is another one that my grandma only makes at Christmas. This is one that up until I was probably a teenager, I wasn't the biggest fan of, but then all of a sudden I just love. So much so that my grandma every Christmas makes me like little personal pies for like an hour, for as many dinners until they last. Um, it's called a tortilla, which is a meat pie.
So like
Uh,
a tortilla.
Sorry.
So like tortilla?
No,
Tortilla?
no, 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 a tortilla. Well, not really. Um, I don't know why it's called a tortilla. Um, Let me look that up. You Wikipedia. Yeah, I have no idea why it's called that.
Sacerdote.
Yeah. But basically, what it is it's a meat pie that does come from Quebec, usually made with minced pork, veal, or beef, um, and potatoes. I've never actually had it with potatoes. I don't want to ever try it with potatoes. That's
I
another
know.
one. I don't know. It's just I'm used to eating it that way. I've only ever seen it that way. This is something you could buy in stores. I've never seen it with potatoes. I don't know what the hell is up with that. Why that's in the Wikipedia thing.
I mean,
Um,
I just know I love meat. I love potatoes. I love meat with potatoes.
oh,
So putting both in a pie would make it's like a recipe for excellence in my opinion. So I don't know.
I'm a potatoes on the side kind of guy. But no, this is another one where my grandma will put buffalo and stuff like that in there, and it's just like every meal we have over the holidays at Christmas time. This is something we have. You put ketchup on it is the way to go. It gives it a little bit of an extra taste, but yeah, it is so good, especially when it's made with a homemade crust because it's so flaky. But this is also something that you can actually buy year round in grocery stores. They're good. Don't get me wrong, but they're not the same. There's nothing like a homemade tortilla.
A homemade pie.
Exactly. Is there anything like that over there?
Not much. I mean, when as far as I know, and again, I'm not a culinary connoisseur by any chance. I'm
Yeah.
not we're very well versed on the cuisine realm, but for my knowledge, when we say pies, or rather the Hebrew word for pie, doesn't necessarily mean anything that's baked. If you catch
Hmm.
my meaning, like you just showed me two pies that I mean it's like baked, like it's dough, it's pastry. Normally, pies or the Hebrew equivalent to the word pie is just something it's got several layers on it, but no actual dough most of the time. At least as far as I am aware of it.
Oh,
But again, this is me as someone
yeah.
who knows nothing about food, so take
Oh,
that with a grain of salt.
I'm sure I can teach you much in the ways of food. Now, if you liked the idea of the other one with the meat and potatoes, the tortilla, you're gonna love this one. Um, this is another Christmas one, Christmas holiday one that I love to death. I could eat this once a day, every day, probably for the rest of my life. It is what's known as a ragu, or as we call in the family, a ragu au pâte de cochon, which translates to pork hock stew. Now, for those who don't know what a pork hock is, it's the foot of a pig. And
Okay.
you boil
And I, yeah, and yet another part of the animal that we do not eat here.
my grandma did try to show me how to make this once, and I almost passed out when we came time to get the meat off the foot. Um, yeah, that's where I'm at in life. But no, you boil that, and then you make meatballs with other types of meat. Again, grandma will use buffalo, beef, whatever. And it's basically like a meat and potato stew. Now, if I were to make it myself, I wouldn't put potatoes in it. Um, but that being said, I will never say no to it, even if potatoes are in it. It is so good, especially when it's made homemade. My grandma, out of between my mom and my grandma still makes the best one. This with because with my mom, you got to watch out for bones.
Ah,
Yeah, but yeah, no, this is one like me and my dad. It's just like we try to fight over who gets the leftovers type thing.
so so it's just the foot itself.
Yeah, it's the big over here. You can buy the pork hocks on their own, and then yeah, so you boil them to get the meat off. And then you cook the meat with, and then you do what you need to. Then you make meatballs and whatever. And then you mix it into it's basically a stew.
Yeah, it looks like meatballs, but
Yeah.
it's meatballs made from
No. It's meatballs, and then there's also the meat off the pork hock. Like there's two types of meat in there.
porks have a lot of meat on them.
Well, like I said, the meatballs. That's where you use your buffalo or your deer or your beef or whatever, right?
When you say buffalo, you mean the actual animal buffalo? It's not a
Yeah.
slang or something. So
No,
it's
no,
not like a buffalo wing or something like that.
no, the actual animal.
Another animal we do not have over here. So
Yeah. No, that's yeah. No, you gotta go. You can't buy them at like the big grocery chains, but you can buy them at like the local meat markets and stuff like that. Or there's obviously people in town. Like you can buy like half a buffalo or half a deer or half a cow or something like that, and then a butcher will chop up, make it all the different types of cuts, ground beef, all that stuff, and deliver it to you.
I think the main issue here, the main reason there's so many of these foods that I just they seem so alien to me is because you're using so many types of meat that just doesn't work around here because of kosher rules.
Yeah.
That just don't even get me started on how much I despise those. But yeah, we're deprived of so many meat tastes around here because they are not considered kosher, unfortunately. Yeah. So like we only get to eat like, I don't know, kosher approved shit like chicken and certain types of fish and cow. We do not, and I suppose sheep and mutton to a degree as well, but we do not get to eat a lot of animals that aren't really necessarily considered kosher.
Oh, that makes sense because that.
Unless of course you know where to look.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but I mean, like, I am envious of you because you would be trying these for the first time.
True.
Yeah. True. Now the next one is something you can actually you can buy in restaurants. You can buy the meat yourself and make it at home. It's just basically a Montreal smoked meat sandwich. It's just basically a type of a beef with seasoning on it. It's cured. I'm not sure quite how they do it, but yeah, you can. It's just basically a special meat sandwich with spices from Quebec.
Right. Well, this is where I'm probably gonna disappoint you a little bit. I'm not a fan of raw meat.
Oh no, it's really, you don't like not even as like a meat for sandwiches, like sandwich meat.
No, I much prefer the meat properly dead. I don't like it living and bloodied inside my mouth when I eat it.
So you've never had bologna?
No, but that's a personal taste.
Okay, interesting. You're the first person. I've never heard that. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, like when I'm just looking at this picture and I just don't like the meat when it's still red. I much prefer to cook it until it's properly browned or burnt. Not burnt, but just it's got some color in it.
Hey, I get it. But what's lovely is you can buy this seasoning and put it on anything. So
because like sometimes when I go to some certain places and they just don't cook the meat properly and it just dissolves in my mouth. It's like that Mr. Bean sketch when he's in the restaurant and he orders a steak tartare, not really knowing what it is because it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah,
and takes one bite and he's like, it's alright. So he spends the whole sketch just trying to hide bits of the meat everywhere to make it look like he's actually eating it, but he's not. That's me. Like I just cannot handle the meat when it's raw and still red and bloody.
Totally fair. Well, okay, that's I get that. Sandwich meat is something totally different over here. I get that. Like what you're talking about is if like you've ever had a steak before.
I'm Argentinian, of course I have.
Okay, so I take it you like your steak well cooked. You will never eat it medium rare.
I always go for well done.
I get that. Okay, no, sandwich meat is something totally different. But this is actually not bloody. This stuff.
Ooh, a sudden bear appeared.
Yeah. No, that's Montreal smoke. It just looks bloody. It's not. But I get it.
I will not be adverse to trying it.
Totally.
If I eat it and it just sort of melts in my mouth like it's still alive, like it's about to moo at me,
yeah,
I'm done.
Hey, I totally get it. This is also another one. I think this might be pork as well.
Oh, so it won't moo at me; it will oink at me.
There's smoked meat. There's Montreal smoked meat.
Yeah, thank you, Wikipedia, but you can be a bit long-winded sometimes.
Oh no, that wasn't Wikipedia. This was a list that I found just because I was like, I didn't quite know what meals to talk about at first, and then I just like, oh, this French cuisine, and then I saw this. It's like, well, this is mostly stuff I've had before, anyways. So Let's see Wikipedia. Oh, it's similar to pastrami.
Well, pastrami I will eat. I
Yeah,
like pastrami as parts of a sandwich, or just on its own. Just fold it and eat it like a snack. But
yeah, it's a type of kosher
actual
deli meat. It's basically beef brisket.
which is
Oh, really? You've never had a brisket before? Okay.
brisket.
Brisket is the cut of meat from the breast or lower chest of beef or veal. So yeah, it's from a particular part. So it's basically the meatiest part of the animal.
Yeah. So like, when they always have these diagrams of a cow that they cut it up to certain bits and they number it. It's a certain number. I'm assuming I might have eaten it at some point or another. But
Yeah.
just
No, this
didn't
is
remember.
another one. Like I've had them before. Not my favorite thing, but we went into a restaurant in downtown Montreal that particular Quebec trip, and we went into the restaurant. That was their specialty was Montreal smoked meat sandwiches. You could have them any type. I was like, oh heaven! I will never live in Montreal. I don't like to drive in Montreal, but I freaking miss the restaurants.
Yeah. So that type of meat I wouldn't really necessarily eat in a sandwich. Like when I eat steak, I eat it on a plate.
Yeah,
But sandwich is something I would consider something like uh, hot dog or kebab, or
yeah,
after a barbecue or something like that. Most notably in a pita, which
yep.
I'm
I enjoy
assuming you
that.
don't have over there.
Oh yeah, totally. We have a restaurant called the Pita Pit. Steak sometimes in sandwiches aren't bad. Like getting a steak sub from Subways, I do enjoy every once in a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, and even you know what, even having them in a salad too. I've had that before. But yeah, no, most of the time though, I'm like you. I'm not particularly picky when it comes to that. Like I mean, I've had blue rare before. That's one I won't. That's not a go to. But if there's blood in it, I don't care. If it's thoroughly cooked, I don't care. It's meat. Give it to me.
Understandable. To
Yeah.
me, steak does not belong in a sandwich.
It's like
That's
to
just
it's like to quote Ron Swanson, "You had me at meat tornado." Okay, so and then the next one, there is a British equivalent that is more widely known. This is one that my dad makes it one way, my grandma makes it another, and there's an argument over which is the proper one. I'm just don't care because they're both good. Um, where the- it's called a pâté chinoise, which is kind of like a shepherd's pie.
okay. It kind of looks like what a shepherd's pie would look like.
Yeah, it's French Canadian dish similar to the shepherd's pie. It's Quebecois and Acadian, which is a French offshoot in the states. It's made with layers beef, sometimes mixed with sautéed diced onions. I've actually never had that. That sounds interesting. Canned corn. My grandma makes it with the cream corn. My dad doesn't. That's where the argument comes in. For the middle layer, and then mashed potatoes on top, and season. You can add whatever seasoning you want on there. Variations may include reversing the layers, then meat, whatever. Yeah, no, this is another one. This isn't one that's reserved for holidays. This is one that we will have every once in a while. I actually this is one I like mustard on for whatever reason. But yeah, no, I like them both, but I do prefer it with cream corn, just because it adds a flavor to it, and like that, it add the cream part of the cream corn just adds something to it.
So the bit at the top is mashed potatoes. Then,
Correct. That is mashed potatoes. Yes, that is
yeah.
mashed potatoes. That's another one. My dad, when he mashes potatoes, he literally just takes a fork and mashes them. That's how he does it. My grandma's like, no, she makes proper mashed potatoes, puts it on, bakes it.
What do you
Yeah.
mean purple mashed potatoes?
Well, where you mix it with eggs and milk and you whip it. You've never had mashed potatoes?
I had mashed potatoes. I just make the potatoes, boil the pieces of potatoes in a large
Yeah.
pot with water, and then just mash them.
Yeah. The only thing you're missing is adding the egg and the milk.
Never heard of that.
That's what makes it fluffy. You never.
So Bring up that picture again. So the mashed potatoes on the top, they're mashed with the egg and the cream.
Yeah, so my dad, that the way he does it is he makes it like you. That's how he does his mashed potatoes. But yeah, proper mashed potatoes, you do that, and then you add other things into it. Yeah, with
Well,
added milk, butter, salt, or pepper.
well, that's another reason why probably we don't do that over here. Is a lot of the times mashed potatoes does go with a lot of meat
Oh yeah,
centered
here too.
uh, centered dishes. Like something like this, like what you're seeing in the picture, or with the creamed corn. That is another no here because you can't mix milk with meat.
Huh? That what?
Yeah, that's another big part of the kosher bullshit.
You guys are lame. How would they know anyways? Do they smell your breath?
I don't know. I don't know. You're not if you eat anything dairy, you are not allowed to eat meat for 3 hours later. And if you eat anything with meat in it, you are not allowed to consume any dairy products for 6 hours later. That is just how the crazy rules of kosher nonsense happens over here.
Why do you follow them?
I don't. I don't.
Okay,
But
good.
restaurants and other eating places
Under-
do.
okay, understandable. Okay, I kind of get that. Well, yes, I do agree that's lame, but okay, this is another dish where it's just yeah. We'll get you to have.
I would love that.
Yeah,
But I feel actually, I believe I have eaten shepherd's pie.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure my mom did make uh, shepherd's pie at one point or another, and I loved it because yeah, I mean it's meat and mashed potatoes. What's not to like?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, and the thing is, like, as you see here, you put your peas and stuff of that. My grandma likes to add other vegetables in it. Yeah, it's basically it's basically the French version of a shepherd's pie. Yeah. Cool.
Fun fact: I was a shepherd once for a day.
Yeah, you did tell me that. That's another story for another time. Aha, see what I did there?
Another life feels like.
Yeah. So, did any of these make you hungry?
Well, no, because I just got back from eating, so I'm still pretty full from.
Totally fair.
But it is Passover here, so this is kind of what we're left with.
Understandable.
And here's another thing. Here's another thing around Passover, because this is all you are allowed to eat. You are not allowed to eat any bread products. It has to be made with the same types of flour and baking rules as the matzah. Meaning, just a rare example, just something off the top of my head. If you go to McDonald's, the bun of the hamburger has to be made with matzah flour.
Hmm.
Like it's pretty crazy how much the kosher rules invade food around here.
That
Like
is
you could literally. I'm not even making this up. This isn't even hyperbole. This really happened to my mom. You can get frowned upon. You can get weird stares. You can get people gasping and talking if while you're at a supermarket you just happen to have in your shopping cart you just happen to have a cheese product placed on top of a meat product in your own personal shopping cart.
Hmm.
Like people will talk. People will point it out to you.
And that's when you tell them that's not a sin, folks. It's not
Well,
going
to them it is, but you know what I say? Mind your own damn business.
to exactly.
Like I literally had this guy in the military. I just after we came back from lunch, we had this very meaty lunch, and I just decided to drink some chocolate milk about an hour or so later.
See the
He's
pillow?
like, "You what?"
See the pillow?
Yeah, I know. I noticed that before we even went live. I loved it, but the guy saw me starting to drink some chocolate milk. He's like, "What are you doing? You just ate meat an hour ago." So just get the hell out of my plate. What do you
Yeah.
care? What do you care? It's my body.
Yeah, no shit, eh? You're gonna die no matter what.
I follow my rules.
Yeah, exactly.
It happened to me a couple of weeks ago at work. Like we just finished eating. We were just sitting down, letting it simmer, and I just happened to have a pack of chocolates that I bought earlier, and I offered it to some people, and was like anyone want some chocolates as a dessert? What do you mean chocolate? We just ate milk, so I don't have any then. So I ate the whole thing by myself. Like it's crazy the way people force you to eat stuff around here. It's nuts.
Dude, you remind me of George Costanza.
Oh, because I'm short and fat and ugly, and up until recently I was balding.
No, the way you told me that story.
That does sound like something that would happen to George Costanza, but
It does, yeah.
and George Costanza is based on Larry David's personal experience, who is Jewish, so it's the type of things that would happen to him.
Yeah, the other stuff is just icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's wow. You guys are fucking weird over there. We need to get you over here, man.
Easier said than done.
True, but hey, anything's possible, man. All I gotta do is hope. Because, dude, I get like there's so many other things. Like this is just French Canadian. I'm not talking. I haven't introduced you to stuff we have over here, like smoked salmon.
Pretty sure we have that here as well, but
Salmon?
probably it's probably not as good.
Oh no. Yeah, no, there's a lot of great things over on this side too. So yeah, that's for another video.
Yeah, probably. I just remember I think it was on an all night taco stand once. The guys was just starting to talk about American based fast food chains, and I had nothing to contribute to the entire conversation. I mean, we around here we have McDonald's and Burger King, and that's about it. So like Wendy's, never heard of it. Subway, don't know what it is. Cheesecake Factory, I only know it from Big Bang Theory. What else? DQ, never heard of it.
You know what a submarine sandwich is?
I know what a submarine sandwich is.
Subway is just a place that's what you order. Submarine sandwiches.
Yeah, I know what a submarine sandwich is. We just don't have the Subway food chain over here. Like a couple of years ago, they tried, and this is untried, they tried having Kentucky Fried Chicken over here. Didn't last very long because, again, kosher. So I haven't even got a chance to taste it. Like, no idea what Wendy's is. Never heard of. Never tried it. And just like, I can give you a list. Actually, I probably can't because I can't give you a full list of places that don't exist over here because they don't know what they are. Like it's a paradox. It's a looping paradox.
One day I have an idea for an episode. If you're ever up for it, you and me go through the McDonald's menus from around the world. I've actually looked at some of them, and some of the things on them are just wild.
Yeah, they had a Mac falafel over here a couple of years ago.
You could buy
they literally just the ad. They just reused scenes from Pulp Fiction. I'm not even joking. They just used scenes from Pulp Fiction to sell the Mac falafel. And then a couple of years later, they had the Mac shawarma. But here's another one that so. In the movie Demolition Man, you know how Taco Bell basically
on the fast food wars,
yeah. There is no Taco Bell over here.
Really?
Yeah. I suppose it's more international, not just over here, but in most areas, it's Domino's Pizza.
Taco Bell. We used to have one in our KFC until a couple years ago. And there was a lot of places where they were owned by the same company. I don't think that's the case anymore. But yeah, no, it's not. Every once in a while, I get a craving for it, but it's not something I would go for all that often.
Yeah, so like when we don't know what Taco Bell is because it never just traveled all the way over here. Like yeah, Domino's Pizza and Pizza Hut are another two things that like international things that somehow made their way over here. But other than that, nothing much else.
Hmm.
Like, oh yeah, and again, there was an episode I think of the Schmoes Know, where they just went through several different burgers from several different places, and like Jack in the Box, In and Out.
Never had that one. Never had that one. Those are American. Never
Oh,
had.
so those are just exclusively American.
Yeah. So
That makes a big difference then.
yeah. Like up here we have Wendy's. Up here we have Burger King. Those are mostly in big cities. They don't like going to small towns, the bastards. McDonald's clearly. A&W is another one. Dairy Queen, which is my personal favorite fast food burger. Carl's Jr., which I love too, but the nearest one is in Prince George, 6 hours away. What other fast food burger? Oh, Fat Burger is pretty good, but that's more like a sit-down restaurant. Also big cities. Yeah. That one I had a burger with pineapple on it. It actually wasn't that bad.
So, aside from McDonald's and Burger King, we also have our own original stuff, like Burger Ranch. Burger Ranch. I'm assuming you never heard of it.
No.
Good. It's shit. It's pretty notorious. It tries to be McDonald's, but it tastes like shit.
Well, Jess was telling me one time that Burger King was originally a local thing there, completely different from the franchise. So when the franchise moved there, they actually had to use another name, and it's I think Hungry Jack.
So like McDowell's from Coming to America.
McDowell's, yeah.
Yeah. So aside from Burger Ranch, we also have BBB, which I believe it's an acronym for Burgers Burger Bar.
Okay.
I swear to God, I kid you not. They make burgers that are about this big. Except you buy like 10 burgers about this big, and it sort of fills you up.
There's something over here which I've never had. I think it's only American. White Castle, which you might have heard from Harold and Kumar go to White Castle.
I know about it from Harold and Kumar. Never had a chance to know what it is.
Yeah, I've never.
I don't even know what they're selling in White Castle because I never had it.
It's burgers. It's just mini burgers, like you just described. But I've heard they're not the best.
Oh, okay. What else? We got Agadir. That's another burger place. I think we can go over a list, but I mean, that's probably a story for another episode.
Yeah. So based on that, 50. Where can everybody find you?
Oh wow, we're doing it this.
Well, yeah, because I have to get ready to go to the.
Right. Because otherwise, we can literally do this for another hour. So as for me,
that's actually something we could do for an episode is go over like different fast food restaurants here and what I actually would be a fun one.
I mean, why bother? We literally just went through half of them now.
Yeah, but I mean, but there's so many other things too that we could talk about.
Okay, cool.
Like this is not just a one episode thing. We could do more like a series on it.
True.
Yeah.
We have a playlist. But as for me, you can find me on my own YouTube channel, 50 Shades of Geek, where I do weekly reviews of every single Doctor Who episode from in 1963 all the way to 2022. And you can also check out my new. I'm assuming I will have it uploaded by this time. The review that I just did for the Super Mario Brothers, as well as some other trailer reactions to trailers that just came out while I was making my way back home, so I didn't have time to watch them yet. But you can also find me on this channel on The Greatest Show in the Galaxy every Monday, assuming the guy who uploads the episodes remembered to upload them at the time. And every Thursday on this show, and I suppose it's still relevant, but a week or so ago, I was on Taco's final Geek Gauntlet on his channel, something to talk about.
You and me both.
Yeah, you and me both.
And as for myself, you can find me on my personal Instagram and Twitter at soda_the_saxman. You can find me on the Northern Entertainment Group on this show with 50. You can find me a couple times a month, usually on his show, The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. And then you can find me occasionally on the Hotel Network, live streaming Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. I'm not doing it tonight, this recording, because I'm going to see Super Mario after this. And then next month, I think I've got a new project launching with my buddy Dagan, so keep an eye out for that on my socials. And yeah, so thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you later. Salut.
And also, happy Easter, happy Passover,
Yeah,
and Ramadan Kareem.
exactly what he said. So long.